Well, howdy folks, welcome to the PNW Vibe YouTube channel. Let's cut straight to the chase. I was recently in the market for a Chevy Tahoe. I found one. It's a Z71. It's got tons of features, all the ones that I like, roof rack, all sorts of cool stuff. But it doesn't have third row seats. Not only did it not just come with the third row seats, as you can see, it doesn't even have the brackets or the hookups or anything to accept a third row seat. But around here, we solve our problems ourselves. So what I did is I went down to Pick and Pull and got all the brackets that I needed and a set of seats, a set of beautiful matching leather seats, might I add, for 250 bucks. Now I've looked online and on eBay and stuff like that, and I found sets of seats for around 300 bucks. Usually it's like a bench seat, not separated seats like these ones are. For around 300 bucks, but they don't come with any of the brackets or anything like that. You're still gonna have to go find those. Hey guys, make sure you stick around to the end of this video. You'll see a little sneak peek of something really cool we got coming up on the channel. All right, so first thing we'll do here is we'll get this piece of trim removed, and all you gotta do is get your fingers up underneath it and yank up on it, just like that. Then we'll take a T50 Torx bit, and we'll zip these guys out. Just like that. Now, all we got to do is pull up the carpet. All right, so with this side, with this trim piece all taken out, I was able to see that it was just this stud right here that the carpet was looped around. So I picked it up on this side, and I figured it's not a big deal. I'll just tear it on the other side. So as you can see, I tore it. You still got a hole there. It'll still loop around. We're gonna have to cut this carpet anyway to make some holes for this hardware. So once you get this carpet all peeled up, you'll see all these little plugs in here. I already got one of them peeled up. You just take a nice little straight blade screwdriver and poke it under there and start working these plugs, each one of them up. They're just little plastic plugs, so you don't want to pry too hard in one spot because you could chip the plug away, and you don't want to do that necessarily. But really, all that's holding them is this foam. It's kind of glued down. Just kind of break up the foam, the adhesive, and then you can just reach under there and pop it right up. All right, so once you get your carpet peeled back and all your plugs removed, we'll go through and we'll just start lining up all of our brackets. All those smaller dog bone ones go in the rear. They only go on one way, so make sure you have the extrusion facing upward, pointing up, and then it doesn't matter if they're rotated. As long as that extrusion is facing up, you're good to go. I want to show you real quick on a couple of these. Like you can see right here, this thing almost overlaps my threaded portion. Now the bolt will thread in on this one, but on this one it did not thread in. So what I did was I just took my channel locks and bent it upward, just pried that sheet metal upward, and then I just twist it off with the channel locks, and I can take it off bite by bite. And then I'll just come back through with a hammer and hammer all those burrs flat. And then once I thread that bolt in there, this piece of metal will just flatten all that material anyway. So it should be no big deal. Any way you can remove material, just go ahead and do that. If you run into the same issue, you could use a file, you could use an angle grinder. If you have a bit bigger than about 1/2 inch, the biggest bit I have is a 1/2 inch. If you have one bigger, you could probably just bore it out with that. But careful you don't get into the threads. Remember, it's going to be underneath this bracket and underneath your carpet, so you're never going to see that. And you want to make sure you get these torqued down to the factory torque spec, which I believe on these rear ones is 12 ooga-doogas, so we'll just make sure we get that. That should be good. Oh, there we go, that was 12. So all these brackets have a little bend in them, and you just want to make sure that bend points upwards. All right, cool. Now we got our brackets all installed. The only thing left to do is to lay these carpets down layer by layer. So obviously it's just 2 layers. So we'll lay the first layer down, and we'll cut around that sound deadening in the shape of, I mean, basically this. Let's get these carpets cut. Alrighty, so far, this sound deadening installation stuff has been a real pain to cut. So I tried the razor knife, I tried the kitchen knife, I tried the tin snips, and I tried the little scissors. The best thing that's worked so far is these big kitchen scissors, and these are actually working pretty good. You can see my first one was pretty rough, second one was a little better, this third one was great, and this fourth one was really good. It's just a little oversized and off-centered. So Alrighty, now we lay the main carpet back down and we'll just go through and cut this. Now this is a hell of a lot easier to cut just with a razor knife. So you'll just want to make sure you just kind of keep it nice and straight, because obviously this is what people are going to see. I have a mat that I can put on top of it when I'm not running the third row seating, but obviously the seating will cover up any imperfections you make. It's just when you pull it out, if you don't have a floor mat, you want to make sure you cut these nice and straight and as pretty as possible. I never was very straight, so it's hard for me to cut nice straight lines. It's just kind of hard for me to cut straight lines sometimes. I'm just don't have a steady hand. But anyway, just go ahead and get these cut out. You'll see these brackets bend like this, so we'll just go ahead and feel under the carpet for the bend. Feel it right there. I'll just cut around that. And then obviously from these ones, I can tell I need to go back a couple inches from the bend. Right about there. And then I'll go across. It's better to start short because you can't put any carpet back, obviously. That's good. And then if I cut a little bit too far, like I did right here, it's not a big deal. I'll just start my cut a little ways away from where I need it. A little ways away from the end of my last cut, and the carpet will just go back to flat, and it'll pretty much hide my mistake. So I'll show you here in just a second. Just like that. And then as you can see here, I cut it a little too far, but when that carpet goes flat, you can't even tell it hides it for me. So I'm gonna widen this side out just a little bit, but you get the gist of it. Just gonna pretty much cut out around these divots right here. Alrighty, all said and done, we got something that looks a little bit like this. I went ahead and cut these into a T-shape just to accommodate that divot that's underneath. I figure it's probably there for a reason. I'm gonna go ahead and put these trim pieces back on, and then we'll test fit this. All right, we got everything back in place. Let's go ahead and try test fitting this thing. All right. This is awesome.
What do you think, bud?
What do you think, babe?
Oh. She says cute.
Well, hell yeah, brother. Look at that. Hell yeah. Hey guys, I forgot to film the ending to this video when I was filming it, so that's what gives with the continuity error. But that's how you add a third row seat to your Tahoe. It's a pretty easy project. No big deal. It doesn't cost that much in the utility that you gain from it. I mean, gosh, that's really priceless, isn't it? But as for the little sneak peek that I mentioned earlier, since I forgot to film the end of this video, you guys can see what the heck is going on behind me in this garage right here. Now, I'm not going to show you too much, don't be telling anybody, but make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of this cool stuff that we got going on right here, because the videos are going to be coming out real soon. All right, thanks guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.